As Heather said, I'm Melissa with IQX Business Solutions. We are thrilled today to have with us one of our customers, IMAX Corporation, and Wolfgang Berger, who is one of our wonderful customer contacts there. Wolfgang, thank you so much for being willing to join us today and tell us your story. So welcome, and how about let's get going and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Thank you so much, Melissa. Excited to be here today. Excited to talk about our experience, how we implemented the CapEx management tool from IQX. I'll get started. Hope you can see on my screen. I hope you. Yeah, let me just get started with a few words about myself. So my name is Wolfgang Berger. I joined IMAX about 3.5 years ago as the Director of Enterprise Applications. And in my role here, I'm looking after the backend applications, including but not limited to SAP. And my team's responsibility is to constantly work with the business to manage and enhance our applications, optimize our application portfolio, and make sure the end users are happy. About my past, so over the last 20 plus years, I worked as a SAP developer, a basis admin, a technology lead, an architect in the different industries implementing the SAP software that everybody loves so much. Yeah, so that's all about myself. So let's get started. For the next 45 minutes or so, I'll give you first an overview about the company itself, IMAX. We'll then talk about our CapEx process, and we'll then go into the details of the IQX CapEx solution. And lastly, I'll be there for any questions and answers you may have.
Great. Thanks, Wolfgang. So appreciate your background. You've got a lot of time with SAP. And, I guess IMAX is a name that a lot of us know. We've heard of it. We've been to the movies. We've seen the ads on TV, on the internet. But what does IMAX really do? So can you tell us a little more about that? Tell us a little bit more about what you really do.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about IMAX. So as you can see on my screen, this is probably what many of you have seen in the past. It's the IMAX logo at the big movie theater complex, or you have seen one of those posters, movie posters that has a big word of IMAX in there. So that's same for me. When I started with IMAX, I wasn't really sure either what IMAX is. I just said, oh yeah, I'll take the job. I'll figure out what you do afterwards. So does IMAX make movies? Not really. Is IMAX a theater chain? Not really as well. So we do not make the movies, but we do work with all major movie studios, helping them to make the movies. Again, we do not own movie theaters, but we do work with all the major theater chains throughout the world to enable them to show IMAX movies. Okay, so what does IMAX really do? So IMAX is an innovator in entertainment technology. We use proprietary software and architecture and equipment to create this amazing viewing experience that IMAX is known for. An IMAX theater separates themselves from other theaters through their large screens and their immersive audio systems. So, for example, the currently largest IMAX screen is located in Germany, and it is 125 feet wide and 75 feet tall. So imagine sitting in the first row in front of such a screen. That's super amazing experience.
That's huge. Yeah, definitely.
That is definitely huge, yes. So the immersive viewing experience for IMAX has 3 technical key components. It's the camera that, well, shoots the movie, the sound, and the projectors. So to achieve that famous picture quality from IMAX, we engineer and build the highest quality cameras. They have a resolution of up to 18K for the 70 millimeter films. You know, 2K TV, 4K TV. This is 18K film. For conventional content that is shot with regular cameras, we remaster and enhance the conventional films from those studios using our proprietary software and increase the picture quality to IMAX level. And as well, we are increasing the picture size by about 26%, making it the overall a bigger picture on the screen. Next, we custom design the sound systems. So we achieve a pitch perfect sound throughout the entire auditorium. No matter where you sit, you have that feeling you are within the movie. And then third, we design and build the only projection system that are actually capable of projecting such big or such high resolution images on a screen of this size. And we do that even for 3D. And lastly, the IMAX custom designs and installs each individual theater, optimizing the setup of each component for perfect viewing. And wherever you sit, it feels like you are right in front of the screen, seeing everything perfectly and hearing everything perfectly. So that's, in a nutshell, is what IMAX does. I hope that helps you to understand a little bit about our core business. I have here a few key dates. So IMAX was founded in 1967, where it premiered its first camera at the Canada Expo. In 1997, IMAX wins its first Academy Awards for scientific and technical achievement. And that's not the last time we won it. The last time we really won it was 2024. So just very recent, we got another Academy Award for this area. In 2003, the first Hollywood title was released on IMAX screens. In 2014, we improved our projector models and used the latest laser technology to project the picture onto the wall. And well, in the last recent years, there were a number of box office record-breaking blockbuster movies that were released on IMAX. Like in 2025, we had Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, F1 the movie, and now in December we'll show the third installment of Avatar. It's called Fire and Ash. So December 18th, make sure you're all going to go and watch it.
I'll be there. And I think the Predator movie opens tomorrow.
That is coming up tomorrow. That is right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll put a little plug for you in for that one. Go see Predator.
Good. Okay, here's another slide. It shows all our theater locations. As you can see, we are located all over the world. We are a global brand. And we currently have about 1,825 locations with IMAX screens and hundreds more in backlog. So they will be going online within a few weeks to the next couple of years. So we have a huge backlog to build more and more IMAX theaters. We do operate in 91 countries. Last month it was just 90. Now we are 91 countries. And China is the country with the most screens right now, followed by North America and other Asian countries. Yeah, that's about IMAX, the company. Hope you have a better understanding what and where we all are.
That's great. Thanks, Wolfgang. Because I know I was surprised because I always thought, yeah, you were just theaters, but you're really a technology company at the end of the day.
Exactly. We are a high-tech technology company working and supporting movie studios and theater chains. Yes.
And that technology takes money. And so this is where IMAX and IQX came together around your CapEx process. So I know you're going to explain a little more shortly, but just for the attendees, CapEx stands for capital expenditure. That's investment in projects or things that result in physical assets. And so, Wolfgang, will you tell us a little bit more about where you got started?
Sure, Melissa. So let me talk about IMAX's CapEx process, our system landscape, some challenges we had with the processes and tools, and how we eventually selected IQX for our CapEx solution. Okay, so this diagram shows you a high-level view of our SAP application landscape. SAP is our main ERP system, and we are still running on ECC6 Enhancement Pack 7. We just have about 600-ish end users, which most of them are still using the SAP GUI as their front end. But we do have a few applications that are already built on Fiori. And now IQX or the CapEx tool from IQX is one of those. We implemented a wide range of functional modules, finance being the biggest one, then sales, procurement, PP, PS, and a couple other ones. So we do have a big footprint within ECC. We do use some other SAP applications as well. The better known are CRM, so Customer Relationship Management, BI and BPC, document management system, and I think a couple other ones, can't remember now. To complement our SAP functionality, so our standard ECC functionality, we implemented a number of third-party add-ons to get that specialized functionality that's not in SAP Core. And again, one of it is the IQX CapEx functionality. Our application portfolio consists of a few non-SAP applications. The better known ones are Workday, IFS Field Service Management, Concur, and we do even have a number of custom-built applications that are more specific to our core business around content and film distribution. For our corporate middleware, which is Boomi in our case, we connect SAP to a number of other internal systems, but also to external systems like the SAP Cloud, AWS, banks, and other third parties. But all in all, our overall architecture is really not very complex. Okay, so let's have a look at our CapEx process. So in case you're not familiar with the term CapEx, quick definition, let me read that out here. Capital expenditures, or CapEx, are funds used by a company to acquire, upgrade, and maintain physical and intangible assets such as buildings, software, technology, or equipment. And the CapEx process defines the steps how these funds are being distributed. In IMAX, our process can be broken out in 3 phases. First is the planning phase. That's where we collect our initiatives we plan for the following year. We do a high-level estimation of the required resources, we prioritize initiatives, and in the end, we have a list of approved initiatives that we want to do the next year and need capital for. In the review phase, that's when the initiatives are actually ready to start, and the required funds are being requested by the line of business users. Those requests are then being reviewed and approved by the various departments, mostly finance-related departments. And once it's all approved, we have an internal order created in SAP where we then capture our cost. And then in the execution phase, that's when the funds are being used. And as I said already, cost is being charged to internal orders. And more importantly, spend is being monitored. And what type of projects or what type of CapEx project does IMAX have? So IT is as you can probably imagine, on top of the list, we have numerous projects every year to improve software, to update, implement, and enhance hardware initiatives. So IT is a big user of the CapEx functionality. But what's really important for IMAX are the engineering projects. That's where we design new products, and especially the R&D projects to come up with the new technologies and different product innovations. Okay, so now that we know how our CapEx works, at least in general, I want to tell you a little bit about the problems we had with our legacy CapEx solution. To start with, only the steps in that purple box were really addressed by our legacy system. Submit a request, review it, and approve it. That's about it. And that had quite a few consequences or problems with it. The entire process was segregated across multiple applications. It was manually done and prone to human error. We frequently had delays in the internal order creation in SAP once something got approved. Poor reporting capabilities in the old solution. We had challenges basically seeing the actuals versus the budget, and therefore a lot of projects went over budget, and we only noticed it after the fact. So not good. And besides all these issues, we also wanted to optimize our application portfolio. The old solution was kind of using obsolete technology, so we really had to find something to replace it. So logically, we had to start a CapEx project to select a new CapEx management tool. Okay, Melissa, your cue.
Oh, actually, sorry, I was so absorbed in the diagram there. So, yeah, I will say, actually, IMAX was still a little bit more advanced than a lot of organizations that we talk to who are still on Excel and email. So, I'll give you guys that, since you were ahead of the game as in many things, but it still wasn't good enough. So that's why you had to go looking.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that other companies weren't even this far out. For us, it was already a nightmare to operate this way. But anyways, yes. So we had really an obsolete solution, but you may be asking now, why did you not enhance your existing application? And we actually considered that as well, but we had quite a few additional issues with that solution. Our legacy system was basically an old on-prem application, and the vendor stopped supporting this version. They do have a new version out there, but it's a purely cloud version. Before we had an on-prem, we could do whatever we wanted with it. Now it's a cloud version, and well, you can't do whatever you wanted. And therefore, we would have lost a lot of our IMAX specific functionality. That was not something we were willing to do. So what needed? So we needed really an application that maintains all our current functionality. That was a must. A solution that is ideally SAP certified and already compatible with S4 was also important for us. Provide real-time integration and better reporting tools. As I've said, we didn't monitor the spend versus budget versus actuals very well before. So that was a mandatory part of the solution, of course. So to determine a right solution for us, we went basically out following the typical software evaluation process. We identified alternatives, again, focusing on the solutions within the SAP ecosystem, invited the vendors to demo their solutions, analyzed the different options, and in the end, we selected the best option for IMAX. So then let's take a closer look at our alternatives that we considered. As already mentioned, we wanted to focus on SAP-based solution from different vendors. So first was the IQX solution, but I'll talk about this one a little bit later more. Second, we reviewed the alternatives that were based on the SAP Business Technology Platform, BTP. And lastly, as mentioned, we looked at the cloud version of our current CapEx tool. But by comparing these options, what we found was basically that with the BTP solution, everything was still more or less custom built, and it required custom screens, custom workflows, custom built reports. And on top of that, we needed new infrastructure. BTP was a cloud solution, yeah, but we needed a whole bunch of different components, and the solution became basically too complex in the end, and with that also really expensive compared to what we were willing to pay. With the cloud version of our current system, we would have lost our IMAX specific functionality and still not have any real-time integration with SAP. And then with this IQX, we would have a standard software, that's the IQX add-on, that already sits on our core SAP. It leverages already standard SAP functionality and uses technology we have in place and are already familiar with. So it was pretty clear at that point that IQX is the better solution for us. Okay, so on this slide, you can see the technical architecture that was required for each of the different options. For the cloud version, we still did not get the integration. It was a cloud application that didn't have any native integration to SAP. That would have been something we had to build ourselves. We weren't interested in that. For the BTP-based solutions, yeah, well, take a look at the diagram in the middle and tell me what it says. You really needed kind of a PhD to understand it. Don't even ask me how we would have supported. We are a small business, small company, small team. This would have been too complex for us to support. And then for IQX, we got all we needed on the IQX add-on, which is sitting on top of our existing architecture and was easily accessible through the Fiori front end. So the decision was clear. IQX was really the tool that gives us the functionality we were looking for, plus easy to maintain and no additional infrastructure or hardware was required. Okay.
So yeah, that's we didn't know it at the time, but that was a very thorough analysis and selection process. So we're very happy that you chose IQX, Wolfgang. So thank you again. How about you tell us a little bit more about the IQX solution that you're using today? You know, what it does and how it works.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, let me go deeper then into the solution and the functionality that we implemented. Okay. So our IQX solution consists of 7 Fiori apps. I'll explain each of them later on, but in summary, we had one app to manage the budget, one to create the CapEx request, one to show and manage your own requests, a dashboard, 2 reporting apps, and an administration app. Okay, so first up is the so-called annual budget planning app. This app supports our planning phase of our CapEx process. At IMAX, as I mentioned, the initial planning is done more or less in a spreadsheet. We collect them, we log them, we evaluate them, and then we'll decide what are the initiatives that we want to do in the next year. They are all still in the spreadsheet. But after we finalized, after we finalize the project for the next year, we can now use a planning spreadsheet template from IQX and upload the list of projects and the respective budget information directly into the budget planning app without any manual typing. However, if you need to make any adjustments after uploading the budget, you can still go into the app and make any adjustments as needed. So that's not a problem at all. And once you uploaded the budget and it is ready for sign-off, the budget plan is then being submitted in the app for approval using the built-in workflow. And the approvals are then routed to the respective approvers for sign-off within this app. The app also lets you monitor the approval progress, and it basically shows you who already approved it and who still needs to approve this budget. So pretty easy to use. The next three apps, they support our review phase of our CapEx process. The first of the three apps is the CapEx request app, which is basically used to capture the project details and to submit the funding request for approval. This app has a custom designed screen layout, and it was built using the IQX Screen Builder framework. So it's a tool that basically lets you control how that screen should look like. And what we decided was that we want to model the screen based on our application. So based on our legacy application. The legacy application, as bad it was, technically it had a good screen to capture the information. Users were used to it. So we thought, okay, let's make the IQX intake form the same. Makes it easier for user adoption. In the screen, you basically enter all the general request details about the actual project scope, and lists the line items and resources that need to be funded. If you need to attach some documentation, you can do that in this app as well. And once you captured all the information, it's ready for approval. You submit the request, and again, the workflow is then routing the request to the different approvers. And with the workflow monitor, you monitor the progress of the approvals, who still has to approve and who already approved. The next app is the My Request app. This one is specifically designed to help the users to manage their own requests and outstanding actions. So for example, here under the Submitted by Me tab, I can view all my requests that I submitted and see their current status. But if I'm an approver as well, under the To Approve or Action by Me tab, I can also see what requests still need to be approved by me or have already been actioned by me before. And there's a last tab. If you have admin privileges, you can access some of the admin function from this application as well. And on the right-hand side, there is a little arrow. You have the red boxes to see each or to see the details of each of the requests. You can click on these arrows and navigate to the detailed screen and see what this request is all about. Okay, then we have the next app, which is the Request Monitor. This app is used if you need to see the bigger picture. It lets you see all the requests that have been submitted, or basically have been submitted, and you can see them in the different state. There are predefined tiles you can select to go to those requests that have a specific status. From there, you can narrow down your list as well using keywords. There's one keyword search that goes across all requests and returns those requests that have a match in the keyword in any of the columns, or you use the column-based keyword search that returns only the requests that have that keyword in that specific column. And yeah, once you find the right request, you can navigate again either to the detail screen. You can see the approval workflow, the audit trail for the approvals, and you can even generate a PDF version. And this is a function we specifically requested from IQX. You can generate the PDF version and then email it to anyone who does not have access to the CapEx tool. So the audience for this app is for someone who needs to see the big picture and needs to monitor more than just their own CapEx requests. Okay, now let's go to the reporting apps. These support the execution phase of our process. The first reporting app is the Investment Program Analytics app, and it focuses on the big picture, the overall investment program. So you can drill down from the corporate budget to the department budget to the individual project, and then even all the way down to the individual charges in the IO. Again, you have various selection criteria to narrow down your search to the desired budget level. And it offers also a few diagrams that will show you a graphical representation of your available budget, the requested budget, and the actual spend at that specific budget level you selected. And this reporting app is recommended for managers of larger program budgets and somebody who really needs to see, well, the big picture of your CapEx initiatives. If you have a more focused interest, for example, if you're a project manager and you only need to see details of a specific project, you should be using the Investment Management Analytics app. And it has the same reporting features, but it really focuses on the project directly. The focus on the project that you're interested in and the actual spend information. Okay, and then lastly, we have the administration app. This app is used to make dynamic changes to the CapEx tool configuration, like you can configure the approvers at the different levels. You can set default values like thresholds, controlling area, or currency. Those default values are applicable to all CapEx requests. But what's really important about this app is that you use it if you need to troubleshoot any of the workflow issues. Yeah, it happens sometimes a workflow gets stuck and a ticket is open with IT. IT goes in, uses this app to figure out what happened. Based on the error, IT is resolving the issue or provides guidance on how to resolve the issue. And then you can basically re-trigger the workflow after you fix the issue, and it continues the approval workflow until it's being approved. Again, this app is intended for the IT staff, or depending on if you have a power user with technical background, it could be an option as well to have such a person help with troubleshooting. Okay, these were the 7 apps that we implemented in IMAX and basically use on a daily basis now.
That's great, Wolfgang. Yeah, so this solution is Fiori based from end to end. And so I would say most of the customers we speak with, even those who are on ECC, which are still many, are using Fiori, at least in some part. or they've at least tested it. It's really come a long way. And it's definitely a big improvement over SAP GUI. I will mention that we also do have a cloud-based solution. So for those who don't necessarily want to use Fiori or don't need to use it, there is a cloud-based option that does the same things. So that's an option as well. And for some companies, that's a decent fit because they may have users who don't use SAP, who are not SAP licensed. So, but that was not the case here at IMAX. So
Yeah,
they
no,
look good.
it's definitely come a long way with Fiori. So very happy with the ease of use and the functionality it provides. Okay, but I want to talk a little bit about the actual implementation and our experience, how it went, and how the rollout worked out for IMAX. Yeah, the implementation of the CapEx tool is really straightforward, and as long as you follow basic project principles, it's nothing to worry about here. Plan your tasks carefully, have your resources, or let's say have the right resources available at the right time, and make sure your schedule is realistic. You don't need highly technically skilled resources for this project. Actually, we didn't even have a technical resource, only functional. We didn't need ABAPers, it was all done by IQX. We just had our functional finance folks supporting the implementation. We took our time. We could have done the project faster. I think it took, I'm not sure, it was about 4 months or so, but it's only because we were resource constrained and we kind of took our time to do it, and to do it right. Yeah, and so with the implementation, what we did, of course, was include our end users early on. If you want to get their buy-in in the end, include them, make sure they see what is coming, show them at every stage how the app looks, how it works, and make them feel comfortable that they are heard, that their requirements are met, and that's so much easier to get their buy-in in the end than just showing at the end, hey, this is what we did for you. Do you like it? Yes or no? And frequently they would have said no, but since we included them all the way, actually almost too much in my opinion, but that's a different story. There was really no reason to say in the end, oh no, we actually don't like it. And they do like it. They do like it very much. Also for the implementation, it was important to communicate with all the stakeholders. The work is not just IT or IQX. It requires involvement from the business as well, even if it's just user acceptance testing. But make sure that you tell them what the expectations of them are and keep repeating it. End users or business users tend to forget sometimes if they don't want to do something. So we explained frequently, okay, in a week or so, that's when you have to come in and do X, Y, and Z. So, and it worked very well. And I'm sure you all have done plenty of projects and know how to involve the stakeholders early on and frequently. So if you follow those guidelines, it's really straightforward. The actual rollout then to the end users, we created user guides that were role specific. We had role specific training sessions. And before UAT and before we went live, we trained every user group extensively to make sure that they are familiar with the tool, the process, and any concerns they had. So we were able to resolve and they were comfortable at go live. From a post go live aspect, we included the new IT solution in our IT support process. So if end users really run into any issues, they know how to reach out for help. They just open a ticket in our service desk, and we will address any issues or concerns. So that was pretty much standard process anyways. And we do collect suggestions from end users on how we can improve the tool itself. We did the best we knew and could do at the beginning, but there's always room for improvement. So we do have a list of improvements in our backlogs that we are working on to make the tool work for IMAX even better.
So you've been using the solution for a couple of years now, Wolfgang. So can you tell us, has it worked fairly well? What are the benefits you've seen? Where are you going next with it?
Yeah. So as you said, we have been using the tool for almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years. And as I mentioned earlier, we did receive pretty good feedback from our end users. I actually had a meeting today as well. They were still talking that they preferred the IQX tool over their old legacy system. They
Good
do
to hear.
appreciate. Yeah, I was happy to. Yeah, they appreciate the different features that were missing in the previous legacy tool, especially the real-time integration with SAP. A, for getting internal orders created immediately, and B, having a view of actual versus budget right real time. So if you post an invoice for a project, 5 minutes later, well, immediately later actually, you can see it in the tool as a item that is charged against this internal order. Yeah, the benefits, again, the integration, no need for human intervention anymore, therefore also no reason for human errors. Project overages are now being detected. Actually, they are being prevented in the first place. And if it really happens, they can easily detect it and address it faster. And we do have now full traceability of our spend. So from the portfolio top level all the way down to the individual invoice, we see exactly where the spend comes from. From an IT perspective, this solution was great for us as well, because we were able to get rid of some old technology that we still had, old hardware, inefficient application. It didn't add much work on our support since it's sitting on a solution we are familiar with. It's using our existing technologies and hardware and infrastructure. It's really seamless and a great benefit for IT to finally get rid of some obsolete applications to clean up our portfolio. Okay, what else?
So we've been partners for a couple of years now, Wolfgang. So from the IQX side, it's been a real pleasure to work with such a professional and talented team at a really amazing company. So again, thank you for choosing us. I love being able to tell people, well, yeah, IMAX is one of our customers, and have them go, oh, that's so cool. So will you tell us what your thoughts then have been on the partnership?
Yeah, thank you. No, I have to return the thanks as well. You have been great partners, IMAX and IQX, and the name is already relatively similar.
We're almost there, yeah.
Yeah. No, from day one, when we reached out saying, hey, we might be interested in your tool, can you tell us a little bit more? And obviously, yes, you showed us everything that the tool can do, but you also started then explaining, hey, your process seems a little bit cumbersome. There are some ideas of how this could be done more efficiently. So it's not like trying to sell you the product. So I'm sure you tried to do that, but it was more than that. It was starting out almost like a partnership, and it continued all the way through. It was an easy sales process, no big fuss getting something signed. It was a really straightforward implementation process. It went live as planned and within budget, so all great there. And even afterwards, we are, I don't know, is it quarterly or monthly or frequently in touch, just to touch base on a regular basis, how things are going. And yeah, right now, as you know, we are working with you again to implement a number of enhancements that we have uh, received from our users, some suggestions on how to make the tool better. And I hope within the next 2 weeks, even those ones are going live and making the tool even more useful for us. So
That's great.
thank you for your great partnership.
Thank you as well. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do another version of this with all the new screenshots at one point.
Yeah,
Or are you ready
yeah.
to retire now from webinars?
Well, it wasn't too bad.
Oh, no, that was great.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think we're at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the last slide. Also, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you all about our journey and how we implemented the IQX CapEx tool. Thank you for your interest. And I guess we are opening it up now for some questions.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what we've got. I just put my email address in the chat if anyone needs to get in touch with me. And obviously, you've got Wolfgang's email there. Feel free to reach out and ask questions. So let's see what we've got in the questions here. Quite a few questions. So let's start. So this sounds like it's for you, Wolfgang. It says, were your CapEx users already familiar with Fiori, or was this the first time that they had used it?
Ha.
Do you
So
remember?
yeah. So actually, it was a mix. Since CapEx users are across the business, we had a few users that have some other applications that we run on Fiori, so they were familiar with. Some people have never used SAP before, so they were not familiar, but it's a pretty straightforward front end. And then we had some users that were familiar with the Fiori, sorry, with the SAP GUI, and they were actually excited to see the Fiori front
Hmm.
end because it's so much nicer.
Yeah. Well, SAP GUI's been around since what, the 1990s at this point? So
Yeah,
Sa-
1994 at least.
SAP was due for a refresh, and Fiori's been around for quite a while, more than 10 years now, too, I
Oh
think.
yeah,
So
more than that.
things don't move quickly in the SAP world, do they? So it sounds like you had a mix and they didn't have any issues, picking up the Fiori if they hadn't already used
No,
it before.
no,
That's
that was
great.
easy. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Let's see. Let's pick up another question here. Um, you mentioned this option was budget friendly compared to some of the others. What made it less expensive? I guess maybe compared to
Yeah,
BTP, it was
yeah, yeah,
definitely, yeah.
yeah. So what made it less expensive is really that we were able to leverage all our infrastructure and our SAP solution, the ECC solution, right from the top. If you remember that diagram in the middle of the BTP architecture, we would have required get BTP license or subscription. Uh, the work had to be done all custom, basically. There was a huge cost to implement it, a huge licensing cost for ongoing years. So yeah, that was really the main reason why the the other solutions are more expensive. Yes.
Yeah, and it would have been a whole new skill set for your team to try to
Exactly.
learn
We
and
may have even had
maintain.
to hire some additional services to have that maintained. Correct.
Yeah, so your guys already were very familiar with Fiori, so
Yeah,
there was no additional.
we have our own SAP support team in house, so it is hardly any additional load for them.
Great. That's great. Let's see. Let's grab another question. Um, were you able to customize all of these Fiori apps?
Huh. I think so. I mentioned already the request screen where we capture our request details is completely customized. So um, there was no discussion of can we do that. It was more or less a expectation even from IQX. How do you want your custom screen
Right.
design? That was customized, yes. Other reporting, we try to stay with standard, because the more we customize, the more work it's for you, the more we have to pay you. But we did ask for a few customizations to make it more IMAX.
Yeah. So we do, have the set of these apps are all baseline apps, but every customer wants different fields and drop downs, and so yeah, it's just very common to put your own spin on each one. So
Right.
you guys were able to get exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Let's try to see if we have any other questions. Here's an interesting one. Did you consider using project systems? Have you considered project systems ever, since you're using internal orders instead?
Yeah, yes and no. So we do have two types of projects. So in IMAX, I mentioned right at the beginning that we design theaters, the auditoriums, and they are complex. They have hundreds and hundreds of WBS nodes. We do use PS, so it's project system for these type of projects. But for IQX, the movie theater projects, design projects, they are managed differently, not through our regular CapEx project, because that's kind of a core capability we have. We have our own a different CapEx process for that doesn't fit into the IQX one. But for IT projects, smaller R&D projects that do not go through our PS module, because they are less complex, don't really have that WBS concept and this hierarchy, we only collect the cost in the internal orders. Everything else would make things too complicated for our business side. I'm sure there are companies out there that have larger projects and organize it in WBSs, but the ones we capture here in IQX, we don't need to do that.
So interesting. You're using project systems and internal orders, but for different types of projects. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That actually does make a lot of sense. Yeah. And I know project systems just has some gaps. And what I have heard as well is it's not necessarily user friendly. Not exactly.
It has its challenges. Yes.
Yes, it's not exactly easy to use. So I think Fiori has some advantages over that. Let's see if we have any more questions. That might really be all that we had. And if anybody else has any more questions. Okay, and I think we're almost out of time anyway. So with that, I will invite Heather Lima to come back into the picture, I guess, and help us say farewell.
Thanks, Melissa, and thanks, Wolfgang. What a great
webcast!
So much. So interesting.
Great job, Wolfgang. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Fascinating story.
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
It was a pleasure to share it again.
I'm going to go see Predator tomorrow and give you guys some of my money. So how's that sound?
Yes, I'm doing the same. I actually have a date with my husband tomorrow to go see Predator.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we show it in our office tomorrow in our theater. We do a little screening tomorrow.
They have this own theater in their headquarters. I've been there for a tour. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That is really cool.
Enjoy. We're looking forward to it.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us.